freak out about it. I'm like, she's literally been doing this for decades, and y'all are still mad about it. Like,
It's like, come on.
I
It's
think I think
ridiculous.
just in general, people have just become so weak and sensitive when it comes to sex and religion and
Well, it's like
just
you.
well, I think the fact that we have so many social issues going on in our country right now, and I think more than ever, so many people are uneducated and they're um, plugged in on social media thinking that those are reliable sources about things. So people become more sensitive because they don't want to offend anybody because they don't want to be the next, whoever that.
But I think the problem also is, though, y'all, is that with today's the way we have social media now, and when you're on Facebook or you're on your iPad and you get news, or you're watching television news channels or whatever, it's all filtered to your particular viewpoint already. So it's like all you see is your own
Exactly.
viewpoint, and unless you actually actively seek out alternative points of view, you don't really get exposed to them. So people who aren't smart enough or wise enough to do that actually just take what they're seeing as the gospel or the truth, and say, oh, this is the way things are because Fox News told me, or or it was on Facebook, instead of actually doing research to see if it's fucking true, or to actually come to a conclusion on their own. Do the research and say, okay, let's look about Madonna's past, let's look at her history, let's look at what she's done in the past, her videos or whatever, just as an example, and let's see, oh, I see what she's doing, I see the point she's making, I get it, instead of just saying, oh my god, she's got nuns on a fucking pole, what a fucking big fucking
yeah.
deal.
And what's interesting to me is the whole video. They're all, wearing, their rehearsal clothes, but in this
Right.
one particular clip, we just see this.
The
So,
habits.
do you think this could be just a thing to kind of, get the feathers ruffling about this tour?
I don't honestly think it was had anything I don't think it was intentional at all. I think she's just being herself. It's part of the tour. That's what it was a clip of the dancers rehearsing, and that's just happened to be part of it because it was interesting iconography, I think, and that just
Yeah.
happened to be something that people just picked up on. I don't think she did it intentionally. I mean, people think she does everything
Yeah.
intentionally, but I don't think she does, honestly. But anyway, oh, by the way,
Yeah, I think that's a good
go ahead.
point that you make, just as far as like icon of whatever that fancy word is.
Iconography.
Thank you. Just because that is such like that idea of, and if you look at the video, you'll see what we're talking about is iconic. And if you were to see that 10 years from now, you could say, oh, that was from a Madonna concert.
Right.
And that's one of those things that a lot of artists nowadays aren't really giving us visuals, interesting visuals that are controversial or just interesting, that 10 years from now, we could look back on, like the Britney Spears naked bodysuit with the crystals. Like, that's an iconic thing. And Ariana Grande giving us that. She giving us a ponytail, but is that iconic?
I wish she
It's
would change her
iconic for right
hairstyle.
now, but
She wears the same hairstyle
well,
every
that's a
single
whole
time
nother
I see her.
story. That's a whole nother story. Look it up, Google it. Next.
I know. I mean, I read the story on it already, but yeah,
Oh,
it's like,
okay,
girl,
cool.
change it up. Okay.
There was actually, speaking of, we'll move on from Madonna because I talk about her every fucking time. But anyway, speaking of Madonna, though, there was a video that she released in 2000, early this year about Lady Gaga, and it actually was dedicated to her. And it actually, I can't remember what it was called. Fuck, I can't remember what it was called, but it's actually really
It's like Two Steps Behind Me.
Two Steps
or
Behind Me.
something like
That's
that.
it. Thank you. Two Steps Behind Me. It's a really good song, actually, and it talks about how she's always copycatting her and everything else. And in the video, which was actually not made by her, but it was by someone who mashed it together, it showed it showed basically different scenes from all her videos and juxtaposing them besides Gaga and things she had done that literally ripped her off. And Gaga's tour manager or whatever, or director, whatever the fuck he was, actually admitted to having used Madonna as the quote unquote inspiration for much of Gaga's videos and the things she's done. So I just thought that was interesting that she actually called her out on it publicly. But do you think that that's sort of, you think it's petty, or you think it's fair for her to do that?
Well, where did this song come from?
Madonna wrote it, but it was not. It was
But I know, like,
unreleased.
did
It was
she put
unreleased.
it out, or did it?
No, it was
leak?
It was leaked. It was unreleased.
That's interesting. You don't think that that was leaked to ruffle some feathers to kind of get everyone talking about this concert tour that's about to start,
I
or
don't, but that was in
those
January, though.
wait. Well, yeah, it may have been in January that we wrote it and recorded the demo and everything, but it just so happens to be coming out now. Also, like all the footage from the Vogue video, like all that
Yes.
vintage
No, that was
footage that just
intentional.
happened to leak right about now. I
That was
mean, the
intentional.
timing is, I mean, it's great timing, but
That was intentional. The leaks, the videos and stuff. Those were intentional. Those were not.
then also like. I did watch that video that you're referring to, and the things. Some I didn't watch the whole thing, but just some things that they're doing. It's like Madonna crawling on a floor, and here's Lady Gaga crawling on a floor. I mean, do you really have a
Oh my
trademark
God!
on crawling
Can
on
y'all
a
hear
floor if
me?
you're a fucking rock star? I mean,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of major feedback. Talk again, Christian.
So,
Oh my God! Stop talking.
Does Madonna have
Stop
trademark on
talking.
certain
Stop
things?
talking. Jason, can you talk?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's coming from you, Christian. It's like, do you hear him okay, Jason, or is it just me hearing feedback?
No, it's like some serious feedback.
Oh
in here.
yeah, it's like you're on the moon, Christian.
my my microphone doesn't agree.
Oh, there
with
you
the-
are.
There you go. Okay, you sound 100%.
Yeah, you're back now.
I apologize for that.
It's okay. It happens. Shit happens. Anyway,
Technical difficulties.
no. Anything else you want to talk about tonight before we go, guys? Anything on your minds you want to discuss? I did.
No, I'm just.
I have. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just saying that this whole thing. Technically, at the end of the day, I don't care about the situation. But it seems like this whole thing with Cecil the Lion. I am already sick
Oh
of hearing about it.
God.
I mean, they have put so much. The media has run this into the ground. And someone asked me the other day, how do I feel about it? And I just told her, I'm like, honestly, I don't give two shits about the lion. And she got so upset when I said that. I'm like, I don't care about this fucking lion. I'm like, I'm sorry that it was accidentally killed.
It wasn't
but-
accidentally killed. It was murder.
Well, I mean, murdered or whatever. But I'm like, I'm not losing any sleep over it. I'm sorry.
Well, I am. I'm a huge animal lover, and it fucking pisses me off that this guy literally went into a preserve where they're supposed to be protected and safe, not the wild. It'd be different if he went into the wild and he could legally shoot a lion. That's one thing. But he goes and actually hunts this particular lion in a nature preserve where he's supposed to be safe, coaxes him out with meat, and then murders him, and then lets him stagger around for 40 hours in pain. I mean, he shoots him, in the head or whatever, or the back or something, in pain, and then shoots him in the head and chops his head off. I'm sorry, but that is just
no, I'm an animal lover too.
masochistic.
But it's like, I don't really care.
Actually, that's sadistic. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you don't care. I care. I think it's a horrible thing. You just think they're spending too much time on the.
No,
on
the
talking
media's
about
just
it?
been running this to the ground. I feel like the media's been talking about this more when they could be talking about more serious.
We do
topics.
have much more serious topics that could get much more attention than the lion. I agree with that.
Because I feel like personally they've been talking about this more than been talking about the Sandra Bland situation.
Yeah.
And it's just like I understand this lion was murdered. I get that. I feel bad for it. I'm an animal lover as well. But it's like the media has gone overboard with it. I'm like,
I'm going to say something that you're probably going to agree with me on. It's not going to be popular, but I'm going to tell you that that Americans care more about animals generally than they do about
Humans.
Black people. I'm sorry.
and I said to someone, I said, I feel like this Cecil the Lion thing is kind of like
Symptom?
no offense to neither one of you, of course.
Yes.
But it's like I feel like it's more of like a white America situation.
Yes.
And it's just like I'm like only white America really cares about this.
Mhm.
But I'm just like Sandra Bland, they talked about it for maybe like a few days, and then
That's
that
it.
shit is like already laid to rest.
Yes.
And I turn on the radio, they talk about it. I go online, they talk about it. I go on the blogs, they talk about it. I turn on the TV, they talk about it. I'm like,
yeah.
like
I
I don't have much more of this I can tell.
I understand that. I understand that sentiment. And I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from completely. And I think you're right. I think it's unfair, and I think it's just a symptom of the problems we have with racism in America. And people who aren't, a racial minority or whatever may not see it that way. They may think, oh, you're being ridiculous to say that or to extrapolate this from this. But the truth is that as I said, I do believe, just from observation and some experience, that people in America care more about the lion than they do about a black woman who was possibly murdered in prison. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's the truth, unfortunately. But what can you do to change that?
Nothing.
No,
As of
that's not
right now.
true. That's not true. You can what you can do is continue to keep it in the public dialogue, I think, and make sure people don't forget about that or Trayvon Martin and so forth. All these other issues that the black community has had to face this past few years. That's the only way you can do it, is to keep it alive. Maybe you should write about it or something. I don't know what the hell you can do, but it's up to you. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's just my take on it and that. And
Ooh, that
then
got
it
serious fast too. Damn.
yeah. And then I know there was another situation about the police officer that was charged with murder for murdering the black guy Sam Dubose. I think that's his last name.
Dubois?
In Cincinnati, Ohio. You ever heard about this?
Sam Dubois? Or, I don't
I
know.
think it's his last name is Dubose. I'm not sure if
Dubose.
I'm pronouncing it
Okay.
correctly,
Okay.
but
No, I have not heard about it. Tell me about it.
so this happened over the past week or so. This happened in Cincinnati.
Yes.
There was Sam, which was driving. He was driving a vehicle, was pulled over because he had a front license plate that was missing. That was the original. That was the initial reason he got pulled over. Because in the state of Ohio, you have to have a plate on the front and on the back.
Mm-hmm.
He only had one on the back,
Mm-hmm.
so he got pulled over. And according to the video, there's video online of it, and it's been all over the media. Um, the police officer told him to get out of the car or something like that. And instead of getting out of the car, he wasn't reaching for anything. He just started the car and was going to drive off. The police officer pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm dead serious. It's
Yeah,
videos
I
out
saw
there.
this on I saw this on Facebook for a few days. It just like
Yeah.
popped up on me.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and he wasn't reaching
God.
for anything. The video clearly shows that he was starting his car and he was trying to drive away, and the police officer pulled out and shot him in the head. Then in his report, the police officer says that, oh, he held me and when he drove away, I got dragged with the car and
Mm-hmm.
yada yada. Turns out he was wearing a body cam. None of that was true.
Mm-hmm.
He
Big
turned around. He
surprise.
just purposely just shot and killed this man.
This
And
has happened so much lately. It's just it's a fucking epidemic.
Is it lately, or is it just because the media is finally like catching on to it? And
no,
Well, that's what I
this is-
mean. It's
This
coming
is something that's
to
been
light.
going on in the black community for years.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's just finally coming to the light because the media and people are starting to finally realize that this shit does happen in the black community.
Absolutely.
But this has been going on for ever since I was a kid. I've heard of stories like this. So, I mean, it happens.
But doesn't that make you feel powerless to do anything about it? I mean, because as a community, it would seem to me just. I mean, because we are seeing it so much more often in the media now in the past few years, or especially since Trayvon Martin and everything. But I mean, especially with the police anyway. I think doesn't it make you feel powerless? How do you fight against that other than just talk about it? I mean, what do you do? What can you do?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like changes. I feel like changes need to be made, of course, but it's happening so rapid. It's just almost to the point like you're not exactly sure where to begin.
Do you think
or
that any of this has to do with the fact that we have a black president and that has made it worse for
Mm.
black people? Because
Um,
because white people who are racist feel they're losing their power in the country, and then therefore they react this way. These cops and people like that who are racist. Do you think that may have something to do with it?
mm, personally, I don't know. I can't say, but it is. I mean, it's just a really sad situation, and
Well, don't you think it's
I
been?
always hear people talking about we need to take our country back, and I'm like, what the fuck
Oh
does that even mean?
God! Well, you know
You
what
know,
it means. You know what it means. I mean,
I know what it means, but I'm like, do you not you don't want any minorities in this country? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not understanding.
what it means is that the white power structure in America is fading, and in 20 years from now, it'll be a majority minority country, and they're
Right.
afraid of what's going to happen to their power that they've had for 300, 400 years in this country, whatever it's been. And I think that is where it's coming from. It's fear. It's these people are afraid, and that is no excuse for their behavior, and it's just ignorance based, obviously. It's the same way when the slaves were released and they made they wouldn't allow slaves to have guns and stuff because they thought they were going to kill all of the slave owners and stuff, which they should have done anyway. But anyway, I think that I think that's where it's coming from. So I think honestly that if you look at it that way and you know that they're ignorant and stupid and dumb fucks, eventually things are going to turn around and it's going to be more people going to look like me who are biracial and people like the president and people like that than anyone else. It's going to be a mix